Students, welcome back to the week 9 practical demo. So now we will see that how we can build the application with database and using the room architecture. So let's start with a new project. So okay, so what's the name? So it's our uh, room database demo, and we need to save it in the week 9. I also want to save it not here. Okay, let me copy this thing. I want not in the assignments, in the lectures, and then here I create a week 09, and then I open, and then I push my name of the project folder. So my project folder will be created in this particular specific folder and I click finish. So when I click finish, it will create that particular specific product for me. It is coming in my other screen, so let me bring it here. So we have that particular specific project where we have the main activity, and so first thing is first, then I need to create, just to make sure that our app classes with respect to the database or data model, they are separate. So I'm just creating that particular data model package name, and then here I can create a new Java class file. So Java class file, as I say that I want to have a students, okay, and then when I say students, so I say students, and then here I say I want to have an integer type that will be a student ID, and then I also want to have a string first name. Then we also have, maybe I can just okay, I just control T, and then instead of the first name I say I want to have a last name. Then I also want to have a string which is address, and I also want to have a string that is a user name, or it should be an email that is a username. Address, we need to close it down. We also have a date, that is actually a date of birth. Okay, so I have just created that particular specific class in which I will have a student ID of integer type. Maybe I want to make it long. User email, first name, last name, address. We will also have a boolean value which is like or maybe I can say that I have a string representing the gender. Okay, so of course in the gender we will have the male and female. Date of birth is a date. We also have string which is called mobile. We need to validate that particular specific mobile. How we can validate, we will see it later on. So I just create one specific what you can say that one specific class inside my what you can say that inside my project, inside my database sub package. So I want to use this class as a the other thing that I have created, I don't want to make it just not students, it's a one student table. So what I can do, in case if I just change that particular specific thing here, it will create some errors. So I don't want to do that. So what I want to do, I will right click on that thing, and then I say go to refactor and rename. So in this case, when I do that, it will automatically change the name of the file. Student, it was students before, now it becomes student.java, and it also changed my name of the class. So then it's making wherever that particular, when you say refactor rename, it means that it is going to the all different places where that particular specific class name has been used or the name has been used, and it will change at all the locations. So you don't need to worry about that. So that is the purpose of the refactor rename, refactor delete. So if it is safe, then delete, otherwise you don't delete that particular specific file or the class from the project. We also have that particular specific address. So now we want that particular specific what you can say that libraries we have. Okay, so inside this I have that particular specific let me start a new what you can say that bring up that particular specific location. Okay, so in that particular specific location, so if you look at that, it's actually from our developer, so we can find that particular specific location where we want to have those dependencies. So dependencies of the Rome architecture right now in our project, if I just try to make, because this is an entity, it say that I don't know what is an entity is, so it will like tell you that I cannot recognize that particular specific annotation, so we can't use it right now unless and until we have added that particular specific dependency. So what I'm going to do here, I will just copy paste these particular specific dependencies. These are optionals, these the last three. So let me only take the necessary dependencies that I want to add into my project, and I will go into my Gradle file, that is an application Gradle file, and copy the file, the lines that I have copied from that particular specific web page. I am pasting it here, and now it asks me that you want to sync that particular specific project. Yes, I want to sync it. It will take some time before it can download all those dependencies, and our application or our project is ready to be used for the annotation entity. So now you can see that entity, in that we have a table name. We can say that instead of having that table name as a student, we want to has as students, because there will be a multiple students data that is going to be saved here. Fine. The other thing that I would say that I want to do it here, that I want to annotate different things. For example, I want to tell that it's a primary key. Do you want to auto generate that primary key? I mean, we can say that bracket and then say auto generate, and then we make it true. Do we want to do that? It depends what you want. Sometimes you want to make sure that you are providing the what you can say that, but let us see that we want to auto generate that particular specific thing. If we don't auto generate, then we have to make sure that we are providing the value of the student ID, and then it should be unique and it should automatically indexed. We also have the primary key here, not the primary key, we say that column info, and then in the column info we say name. That is actually representing the name of that particular specific column. We can also have for example, here we say that user underscore email. That is actually a user name as well. Okay, it depends on what. So we also have a string, that is a password, and then I also just copy paste things here, and then instead of user email I say it is a user password. I also again put that over there, it's a user first name. I don't want to use the dash, remember that, otherwise it will create a problem for me. Underscore is fine. First name, last underscore name. Then I also have user address. Why we are using this student maybe we can use the, okay, just keep it like the users to address. Now, as I told you, that it is possible that we can have the embedded fields, and in those embedded fields, like here we have address is something which is like more kind of multiple parts of it. So instead of having the simple string as an address, I am going to create another Java class. I say address, and in that particular specific field I am putting string street underscore address. It should be ADD, or that's why it's showing me. So we also have a string, what you can say that city. We also have a string that is called postcode. Okay, so we have like let me make it like street address, city, and postcode. Or in the street address we can also, maybe I also have a string suburb. So we are provide all those information. Fine. I can also like say that at the column info, and then we say name, and I want to say that this will be a user underscore street underscore address, and I copy this thing, user suburb, then we also that it will be representing the user city, and it will also represent that particular specific post code. Okay, so I have provided those information, and now I go back into the students table, and instead of say that I want to use the string, I say I want address, and I also put one more thing here. I don't need to provide that. Reason is that that particular address is no longer one column, it is more in embedded, capital embedded. It means that the information, these fields are going to be embedded in the student table. Then we also have column info, we say name, and then you say user underscore gender. We also have that user underscore date of birth, and then we also have the user mobile. So I'm just trying to like one thing, that because I did not provide the column info here, so what will happen, so when we are going to create a students table, look, this is a student class, but the name of the table that is related to this student entity or student class is actually the name, table name will be students. Okay, and in that students table we will have all these fields as a columns. So here, as I did not provide the column info, so whatever the name of that student ID, that is the name of the variable, that will become the column name inside the students table, that will serve as a primary key. The other thing, for example, because we are looking at the students, maybe we want, I will just try to like, this is the entity. Okay, I want to have some indices. I want to search the students based on the last name or the mobile number. Okay, so what we need to do, I need to create indices. I say indices, and then I give this thing here, and then I add the date of capital I, it should be, okay, capital I index, and then I need to provide, I want to name of that particular specific index. So maybe say that I need to provide the value in the string, so I say student underscore last underscore name index. Okay, and then once we have provided that particular specific name, then we need to provide some things. So first of all, we need to provide a value, and what is that value is? Value is actually a user underscore last underscore name, and make sure that you are providing the exactly the same. I just copy paste from here, so that will it is a unique. Yeah, I want to keep don't want to keep it unique. Okay, the reason is that last name can repeat itself. Okay, so what we need to do here, value, then we need to put a unique, and then I say I don't want to make it unique, and um, that is the one particular specific index value. Okay, and then we also have another index value that is or I would say that I want to keep it a little bit here, at the rate of index, and then we say name. We also have to provide the name in the form of what's the problem here, it's a unique value is equal to unique name. Maybe we don't need to provide, I don't. Okay, let me see. Unique default value is false, we don't need to provide it. So value mobile number or the last name. Okay, let me see. Would we want to see underscore mobile, and we can say that mobile underscore index, that is the name that we are providing, and then we are saying that this value should be value is equal to user underscore mobile, the unique is equal to true, and that is how we can set those values. But the point is it is giving me an error message at this point. So what is that? So expected this. Okay, what is this? Okay, so we need to provide, I mean, what we are doing here, we provide these values, and then I will show that this thing, and then let me do. So we have applied two index values on the primary key. The index value is automatically applied, so we don't need to worry about applying the index on the primary key. But as we want that we search the students information based on their last name as well as the mobile number, we don't want that last name to be unique, but the mobile number we want to be unique, that one student, if it is providing the what you can say, that if it is providing me the so what else we also have said, that we say unique. Okay, so but anyway, so we have that particular specific unique constraint on that particular specific column. It means that this particular mobile column cannot have the values which are repeating itself. Okay, so we develop that particular specific constraints, and then we also have the username, we also have the password, we also have the first name, last name, we see address, gender, and address is further subdivided into the four different fields: street address, suburb, city, and the postcode. Okay, so we have, and so far we have developed that particular specific students entity, and then we have explained that the table name should be students. We are applying two indices in addition to the in addition to that particular specific in addition to that particular specific what you can say, that the primary key. Okay, and in this way we are getting those information, we set up those informations, an entity with the address as an embedded elements. Now we want to develop the DAO, because we have developed, the first step is developing or constructing the entities. Of course we can add more tables inside it, but right now if we say that we have this students table only, and then we are going to add the DAO. So for the DAO, that should be a class rather than interface. So we say that it is our week 09 DAO, or maybe we can simply say DAO. So what it will do, it will create that particular specific DAO interface, and here I am saying that DA. So we have a DAO, and here we are going to what you can say that we are going to put some informations here. And what are those informations? For example, at the rate of query, we want to run a query. Okay, so we have said it, select asterisk from. So look at that, because we have defined the students table name over there, students, so it is showing me up here. And now it will give me back a list of student, read all students. I mean, this particular specific name you can select whatever, read students, read all students. It does not take any parameter, and that's it. So what it will do, it will run that particular specific query on our database and return me a list of students. Okay, we can also have like add the rate of insert, not index, insert. Okay, and insert, I want to insert, it will normally whenever we are inserting, it will return the primary key value as a return, that whose value as we have, I mean the value that we have. So we say insert student, so whatever that primary key value, that is student ID, it is going to be returned to us at the end, and we are going to pass on a student object, student. So that's it. And then we also say that at the rate of update, we say that it is again is going to return me a long value. Okay, long update student, and at the end we also have a delete, and then it is going to return me an integer value if I delete student, and we can say that we provide the student object. So what's happening here, it will take that particular specific student object and insert in the students table. It will take that students object and update its values inside the students object based on, first it will search that particular student record in the students table based on the student ID. If it is there, it will update. Okay, if it is not there, then definitely it is not going to perform any function, and it will return us a negative value or the -1 value. In case of failure, it will going to return me a -1 value. Again, in case of failure, it is going to return me a -1 value. In case of failure, it is going to return me a 0 value. It means that it has updated 0 records. So this is our DAO. Okay, so we have created that particular DAO, and the next step in the Room architecture is creating that particular specific database class. Okay, so that should be an abstract class. So let me inside our data model package, so we say that our, what you can say that my, or what you can, week 09 room database. Okay, so I just created that class. I make that particular specific class abstract. Okay, abstract, yep. So we need to create that particular specific class, abstract class, and What else? So we need to create, first of all, that particular specific abstract class should be a child of the room database. Okay, so we say extends room database. Okay, so it is a subclass of this one. The second thing, I need to have a private static the object of the same class that I'm using it right now. Okay, so we say week 9 database and assign it to give the name like database is equal to null. So I'm creating the same class object inside this class, which is a static one. And then the other thing is I need to have a public static, which is going to return me a DAO. Okay, DAO, and we can give any name, create DAO, and it does not take any parameter. I mean, right now it say that missing body or declare. It is an abstract class, public abstract class. Okay, this abstract method implements, it will automatically implemented by the room architecture, so we don't need to worry about it. It's a public static DAO, create DAO object, and now we have a public static method which is going to return us a week 09 database, and it is going to, for example, create database instance, and it take a context. Okay, and then here we check if that particular specific database object that we have just declared here, if it is double equal to null. If it is null, then we are going to ask the room database dot okay, it's not room database, it's room dot, so we need to have a room dot build database builder. We have three things to be provided. The first thing is context, so we say context dot get application context. The second thing we need to provide, so it's the class name, so week database dot class, not instance, week database dot class. And the third thing is the name of this, so week 09 underscore room underscore database. So after that we can say build, or we can provide two things. I mean, allow the main thread queries. If we allow, then we can run it something like this. The other thing is that, because why this is showing me up here, because we have not annotated this one, so we say it's a database. Okay, and in that particular specific database we need to provide a few things. Entities is equal to a list of so we say not student dot class, this is only one class which is present over there. We also say version is equal to 1, and then at the end we say that export schema is equal to false. Okay, so now we have that particular specific public abstract class which we provide the name. It should be a extension of or child of the students or room database. Okay, and then we can say that create DAO, it's a public abstract, it should be also abstract, public abstract, and it return me a DAO. Okay, it's not static, so it said public abstract DAO, and this is a method, abstract method that we have defined. Only the header we have given, we have not provided the implementation here. So in this way we have completed our database design class. Fine, let me build that particular specific project. Okay, So we have provided all those information. It's saying send date DOP. Okay, cannot figure out how to save this field into the database. Okay, fine. The date is saved inside our what you can say that inside our now database as a string, okay, or as a long value, depending on how we are going to convert that particular specific date of birth into the so let me show you quickly how we can do that. So we have to provide a converter, okay, so data type converter. So what we need to do here, so again inside our model we say that we want to add a class, and we say that data type converter. So in that particular specific data type converter class, we are going to add the rate of type converter, okay, and then we are saying that public static date and from time stamp, and we say long and value, whatever that value is, and then we say the return value is double equal to null. So actually we are using the ternary operator here. So we are saying that if this particular specific value is null, then return a null value, otherwise return a new date and we pass the value into it. So it will take that particular of course we need to insert what you can say that we need to insert that particular specific, and then at the end we say yes, it should be a long value. Okay, it should be a long, not log value. Okay, so we are providing that particular specific type converter here. So we are saying that because inside our SQL Lite database, the date is stored in the form of a long value, and then when we need to provide a way that will convert a date value into a long and a long value into the date. So we have converted that the value which is coming from the SQLite as a form of a value, okay, we convert that into a date and return that particular specific date. Same thing, we also need to convert a date into a long value. So again we say add the rate of type converter. It should be a public method, it should be a static method, and it should give me a long value, and that long value date to time stamp. We are converting a date into a timestamp, and then we provide a date value here, and then we need to say first of all again if we say that return date is double equal to null, if that particular specific date is null, return a null value, otherwise return we can say that date dot get time. Okay, so automatically it is going to return that particular specific long value to the. So we have that type converter, and we need to tell this thing into our database that we have a type converter that is going to be used inside our database. Okay, so how we can explain that particular specific thing, let me show you quickly the here. Okay, let me see where is my. So here we need to tell that at the rate of type converter. So here we have another annotation that at the rate of type converters. Okay, and then here we need to say we have a data type converter dot class. So as long as we provide this thing, it is going to compile our project successfully. Long update. Okay, update students. Okay, so now we have another issue. What is telling us that not sure how to handle the update methods return type. Currently the supported values are a void or int. Okay, for the update it is an int value, not the long value. Okay, so look at that. Whenever we are designing the thing at the runtime, at the compile time, it is giving me all the error before we can even hit the what you can say that. Okay, yep. So here we have to return that particular specific database object. We are not returning that one, so that's why it is giving us the error. So let us rebuild and see if it is successful this time. Yep, it is successful this time. Okay, uh, the other thing is we have to database the name. Fine, so we have created a student entity. Let me close it down. We have a student entity, and the other thing that I want to do in that particular specific entity, we have a control enter, control n. Okay, it's a control n on the Windows, but it is a command n on the uh, Mac. So I want to make a constructor of that particular specific class. So I see constructor. It's a long list, but yeah, we also say control and we want to have the getters. I also want to get all the uh, getter methods, and I also want to have all setter methods. So I'm just trying to finalize my entity so that I can, whenever I want to change the information, I want to get the information. I have set and get methods for each and every attribute here, and we can access them. That type converter is fine. DAO for the time being is fine. Of course, when we add more tables, we need to add more methods here, method titles here. In the address, again, we also need to have that particular specific constructors, as well as the getters methods, as well as the setter methods. Okay, so I'm just making them so that we can access and change the information in those objects. We can get them, we can change them, and so on. So we are all set for the main activity. Again, in the main activity, what we need, let me what you can say that quickly bring up that particular specific what you can say that layout that I want to put it over there. Okay, and the main activity. So what we can do that let me, okay, so okay, where it is, so here it is. I want to do that particular specific thing. So first of all, I want to make it linear layout. Okay, I want to make it the orientation not horizontal, vertical. I want to make it its gravity central horizontal. Okay, and I just don't want that particular specific things here. So what else I want here, let me bring out some informations from our, okay, so first of all we have that particular specific text view and added texts. Okay, so I'm just putting one what you can say that the username. Okay, that's user email that you need to provide, user email, and here we say the login user email. Okay, and then the second thing I want to have it here is again because for the login information we need two things. The other thing is the user password, so we need a password as well. So the next thing that I want to show it here is the two buttons that I want to show, and these are the login and the setup. So uh, I have a login information. I also not match, I say wrap content, so we have the sign up and the login buttons here. We also have that particular specific username and password. If we have the username password, we can provide it and then log in. Otherwise we are going to sign up. Sign up is more like kind of a thing that we need to provide. So first of all, let me create these. I mean, we have an on-click event, so I will just say that I want to create those to get rid of those particular specific error messages we want to create. So first thing is sign up. Sign up mean that we want to ask all the user information that we have defined here: username, or user email, password, first name, last name. We also have the address, which has again further four informations: gender, birth, date of birth, and the mobile number or user mobile. Okay, so we have all those informations, and now we need to provide a way to get those information from the user. So what we need to do, we need to provide a add a new activity. So we say that I want to start another empty activity, and that should be what you can say that sign up activity. So it's a sign up activity, so we say this, and then inside that particular specific sign up activity, in the main activity, in the main, what I want to do, I just say that I want to start the sign up activity when that sign in button is clicked. So what we can do, we say intent is equal to new intent, provide the context and the sign up activity dot class, and then we can say that start activity and provide that particular specific intent. So let me select the appropriate and run that particular specific thing. It is okay, it's showing me a few things here. So the entities and the POJOs must have a usable public constructor. You can have an empty constructor or a constructor whose parameters match the fields by name and type. Okay, so it is saying me that you must have. So where is the problem? We have a constructor, username, student ID, username, password, and then we also have address. Address for address is equal to address. Okay, so that's an address type. Fine. We also have a gender, we also have a date of birth, we also have a mobile. I have provided all those information. So let me see if we have a public student and it does not take any parameters. So let me see if it is working or not. Yeah, sometimes it's very annoying. I mean, this particular specific constructor, it should be automatically there. So we have provided that particular specific constructor. So let me make sure that I am providing the student ID, then I am providing the user email, then I'm also providing the password, first name, and then we also have the last name. Okay, so we have the data model address. Okay, what is the address here? Have not we have added the address here? It should be here automatically. What do you mean by this thing? So we have that address here. Yeah, it is coming up here. So And let me see it, address, we provide that particular specific address, then we provide the gender, then we provide the date of birth, and then we provide the mobile. So we are providing all those information that we have defined here. Okay, but anyway, so it is actually working. It is that particular specific. Let me bring that particular specific things here. So if I just click on the startup, it is going to the new window. Okay, but of course we have not done anything in the sign up activity for the time being. So let us start developing that particular specific sign up activity. And first of all, we need to provide that particular linear layout. I want to have the orientation vertical. I want to have that particular specific what you can say that what you can say that gravity is the center. Okay, and then now we need to provide all those, we need to look at all those information, username, password. So maybe I can just take these things from my main activity. Okay, in the main activity I have already provided the username and the password. Okay, and the other thing is, if we look at that, I know that this particular specific field is we have a lot of fields, so it is possible that this will go down. So it is better that I convert that particular linear layout into scroll view. We don't need to provide that orientations here, and here we can say that we have a linear layout. We say match parent, again match parent. We say orientation is equal to vertical, and the gravity is equal to center horizontal, and inside that we need to put that particular specific username and password. Fine. So again, this is not the login, these are the sign ups. Okay, sign up user email, and we also have sign up user password. Okay, so let me, the next thing that is there is the first name, last name. Then we have genders, maybe we can put a spiner over there. Okay, so first of all we need to provide again this two more. One is a sign up password, not password, it is a first name. Okay, and then we also have this one, first name, and then we also have hint as a first name. Input type is not a password, so that we need to change. Maybe I can just copy paste that particular specific thing here, and we are saying that first name, we have a last name, then we also have a last name here, and then we also have a last name here. So I have just created those fields for the input. Then we also have that particular specific, instead of we say that gender, so we want to expect the gender. I want to have a spiner, and then here we say that user gender, and remember that if we want to show something in that spiner, then we need to provide a string array. So we say that string array gender underscore array, and we need to provide the item. Okay, we say male, and we say that female. Okay, so we provide those information. So here we can come up, and then instead of wrap content is fine, so we also have the information's background color is okay. We don't need to provide the hint as well. Okay, and text color, text bold style. Okay, so we say that entries are coming from our gender array. Okay, so it is providing us that particular specific. Let me close it down and see. It is providing me, but it is not changing the text. Maybe we can like build it so to see the effect. Okay, male, maybe we don't want to text color. Okay, text size, text bold, fine, text alignment, center. It is going to the center, but it's not changing the colors informations or always. But let me run that particular specific application and see if it is coming up properly. So let me see. So yep, we have male and female, but it is not showing me. So let me remove those values. So the background color, the text size, and maybe I just change the background color, so maybe we can see that male is coming up. Okay, so what else we have? We have that particular specific gender. We also have a date of birth, and then we also have the mobile number. So let me close that string. We don't need anymore. We also need to have like sign email. Let me have that particular specific information from this one, because we need to have that particular specific mobile. Okay, mobile we have, and then instead of the username we have a user mobile, and we also need to change that particular specific hint to mobile. And then what else we have a user date of birth. Date of birth is something which is we can choose the again, yep, we can use date of birth, DOB. Okay, and then here we say that I want to use the date of birth, and we also need to provide date of birth. Okay, so when we say date of birth, so it will be the input type. The input type, it should be date. So we are saying that we are going to provide a date as an input in this field. And now the last part is the student. So we have the input field for the email, password, first name, last name, gender, date of birth, and mobile, but we don't have for the address. So for the address, again, we have the 4 things. Okay, so we need to provide those informations here. Maybe we can say that let me take up that particular specific mobile thing. Okay, and the other thing is I think that we can also change the input type for the mobile number as well as phone. Okay, so we are providing the phone number into that particular specific field. Other than that, it should be fine. So again, you can see that it's coming up. So we can say that street address and user street address. Okay, so we again provide user, not the mobile. We can say that we need to provide that particular specific suburb. We also need to change that particular specific test suburb. We also change that particular hint into street address. Okay, and here again change that hint into the suburb. Okay, so you can see we have a street address, we also have a suburb, and then we again put that particular specific instead of we say city. Okay, so we also have a city, change that particular hint as well as a city, and then we also provided the last thing, that is the post code. So post code it should be a number, so we can apply that particular input style post code. Okay, so we can provide the input style, it should be a number, and then we also say that it is a postcode information that you need to provide here. Let me okay, so post code. So we have provided all those information, and then let us run that particular specific application and again and see that if we are able to. So we have that particular specific or what you can say that the postcode, but the postcode, where that postcode is, and then we have that particular last part. So let me in that particular specific linear, we can say that we want to put padding to the bottom 30 dp, so we can have some space between the edge of the end of that one. And the other thing that we want two buttons here, so let me take the same two buttons here from here, okay, and then put them at the end of that particular specific linear layout. Okay, so in that particular specific thing that we can see that we have these buttons, we are making them wrap content, and then one is the weight 1, so we need to say that both weights are 1, or maybe we can keep it like that, so we say sign up, or this button is cancel. So when you user sign up click, user sign up cancel click, okay, it's a cancel button. So user sign up button click, okay. So again we can create these methods inside our sign up activity. The same thing we are going to do for the cancel as well. So in the cancel, it's very simple, so we just finish that particular specific current activity. On the other hand, here we need to do a lot of validations and so on. So what are the validations are possible here? Okay, so we need to look at those validations. So we have a sign up activity, and in that particular specific user validations are being processed. So what is those? So first of all, let me validate you can say that I'm just creating that particular specific. Again, I'm copy pasting here. So we first of all, we know that the NZ numbers are always start with 0 1, or they are 0 to 7, or they are 0 to 2. Okay, so or optionally we can also have that particular plus 64 over there. So what we are saying here in that particular specific part, that's a regular expression. If I just first of all, we are saying that it can be a 0, or it can be a space or dash or plus 64. I mean plus 64, after that it can be a space or a dash, or it can be nothing. I mean we also say plus 64 to 1, so it is an optional part. Okay, so this part is optional, and then 0 must be there, and it can comes only one time, and after that it can be a 21 22 or 27. They are all valid starter of the mobile numbers in the New Zealand. And then again we are telling that this particular specific either 21 or 22 or 27, they will be occurring only one time, and then we are put maybe a space or a dash or maybe nothing. Okay, again we are saying then there will be 3 digits, there will be some digits, some numbers, there will be 3 numbers, again space or dash to separate different numbers, like this. or like this, space or dash, or maybe they are not at all, something like this. Let me copy paste. Okay, so what we can, I'm trying to say here, so it could be possible that this space is not there, the number is given like that, so it is quite fine, that is quite acceptable. Okay, so whether they are in this form with the space or dash, or whether they are combined together, it's acceptable. So it's a valid number, it's a valid mobile number. So we have three numbers, and then we have the four numbers, and then now because we also have another number like in 9, so another number 9, or maybe dash 9 or something, so that could be a possibility. So again, I'm saying that there could be a possibility there would be a 10th number, or maybe there is no 10th number. So again, I'm putting that particular specific thing as a 4 digits, and the last digit is optional, maybe one time or maybe 0. Okay, so this particular specific method is going to validate the mobile string. That is the one particular specific thing. For the email validation, we also have another method. Okay, so let me bring that particular specific method here. So it's is email valid email, it will take the email string as an, so we have, because inside the Java they already have some patterns, and then we are saying that is that particular specific pattern match with the address, email address pattern. If it is matches, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. The same thing is happening here, matches with the specific pattern, and if it matches, then it will return true, otherwise if it will return false. So we validate the email and the what you can say, the email as well as the uh, mobile number. Okay, so now the other thing that is, we need to provide all those information. So first of all, we have the edit texts. Okay, so we have email et edit text, et mean edit text. We also have password et. We also have after the password we have a first name et. We also have last name et. We also have what else that we have here, username, password, first name, last name, and then we also have gender. Gender is actually a spinner, so let me put that particular spinner, gender sp. Okay, after that we have that particular last name, gender, and then we have a mobile, date of birth, and then the street address. So we can say that gender DOB ET, mobile ET, these are all representing the edit texts. So we have the user mail, password, first name, last name, gender is that one, date of birth, and mobile, and then inside our address we have a street address et, suburb et, and then we also have city et, and the last name is the postcode et. I'm putting all these things inside my sign up click event. So what we need to do first, we need to initialize all those things. So email et is equal to find by id r dot id dot sign up user email. Okay, then we also have the password et is equal to find by r dot id dot sign up user password. Okay, then we have the first name et is equal to find by void r dot id dot first name, sign up first name. We have a last name et is equal to find by r dot id dot last name. Okay, and then we have date of birth is equal to find by r.id date of r.id dot sign up user dob. Okay, then we have the mobile, it is equal to find r.id capital R, not small, dot id dot mobile. Yes, so we have a mobile. Then we have a street address, and so that will be a find by r.id dot street address. Yep. And then we also have a suburb, so as we again find by r.id dot suburb. Okay, so we have a sign up, and then we have a city, it is equal to find by r.id dot city. Okay, then we also have a postcode, it is equal to find by r.id dot post code. Okay, so we have all those information, and now we need to have, of course, the string values. So we say string we have a string, and then we can say that email password, first name, last name, dob, mobile, street, suburb, city, postcode, gender. Okay, so we have all these. The same thing is we need to have that gender sp is equal to find by id r.id dot gender. Okay, so we have those. We need to initialize them. We can simply say that email is equal to email et dot get text dot toString. Similarly, we can say that password is equal to password et dot get text dot toString, and then we can say that first name is equal to first name et dot get text dot toString. And similarly, we can have something like that. I mean, we need to initialize all those variables. Hello students, so we have done all this initialization. First we did the initialization of all the GUI components, and then we are getting the values of those components from those GUI components in form of strings. Now, as you remember that we have two validation, email validation and the mobile validation. So first of all, let us check that, because the email, that is a username for our students, so we need to validate. So we say that is valid email, so we need to provide that particular specific thing. In the else part, maybe we can toast this, and then we make a message, need a valid email as username. Okay, and then we also need to provide how long we want to show it, and at the end we then show. So what if that particular specific, so what we are saying, we are asking this particular specific method that tell us that this particular email that is provided by the user is valid or not. If it is valid, it will return true, and if it is true, we are going to come down into that particular if conditions. So again, we can check for the it is valid. First of all, we can say that, I mean, first name and last name are required, so we can say that if first name dot is empty, and we also need to put a not it mean that if it is empty, it will return true, and we are going to make it false. Okay, so it is the if condition that if all the values are given, then we are going to go into that particular specific if condition, otherwise we go into the else condition. Okay, so first name should be given, not last name dot is empty, and not what else we have. So we have the first name, last name, not the password. So we will also try to check the password is like we are going to impose some length on it, so it should be at least 6 character or the 8 character long. So that is we are going to check later on, but we can also check that if the password is dot is empty, is not empty, we can say that. And then we can also say that dob dot is empty, it should be not here as well. So all the fields are given by the user, so we can say that not mobile dot is empty. We can also say not what you can say that not, I mean gender is by default, it will be there, so we can't. Mobile, we can also street address, suburb, city and postcode we are not interested in right now, maybe they are empty. Okay, so maybe that could be a possibility that they could be empty. Fine, so now we are in the conditions, all these required fields are given by the user, and then we can say that if password dot length is less than, is greater than or equal to, for example 8, so we are saying that it means that password must be at least 8 character long. Okay, and if it is not the case, then we are going to give an appropriate a toast message. So what you can say that toast dot make test this, and then password must be 8, it must be at least 8 character long, and we say that toast dot length dot show. And similarly we can also have something like that, toast dot make test this, user must provide name, password and date of birth. I'm just giving that. So toast dot length and then dot show. So we are, first of all we are validating the email. If valid, if it is a valid email, then we are going to this one. If we are checking that if the user has provided all the required fields, if the password is greater than or equal to 8, and then we can also check is valid mobile, so we can provide the mobile. If the valid mobile, else we are going to show a toast message that must or a valid mobile must be given. Okay, so once we have all the validations we have done, we have first of all we check the email, then we check the empty or not, and then we are in the password length is greater than or equal to 8, and then we are saying it's a valid email. We can also make it a one big for example here we can say something like this is valid mobile, we provide the mobile, and then we can say that we can put all the things that is here, we can make them as a one big. Okay, that is possible that we can put, but then we don't know what are the reasons, what is the reason behind that particular specific missing the validation. So if we are putting that particular in a nested if conditions, that we know that the email is not valid, so that we can give the appropriate message to the user. Here we can say that there is something missing which are required fields, so we can give an appropriate message. We also check the passwords. If we are having a nested if conditions, then we can give the appropriate message to the user, and the user understand what is the reason, where exactly that reason is. So again, it depends on how we are going to implement those things. We can also have check separately and highlight those things inside our GUI. That is also possible, where exactly that particular possible error is. So once we have all the validation, what we need to do, we need to create we need to have a address object. Once we have the address object, then we need to create a student object, based on all the information which is provided by the user. Okay, so what we can say, so we say address is equal to new address, and here we need to provide, for example, we need to provide a street address. So we provide a street address, then we provide a suburb address, then we have a city, and then we have the postcode. Okay, so we have that particular specific address, and then we can say that we want to create a student is equal to new student, and here we need to provide a student ID. Okay, so now the point is student ID. We have set in our students table that particular specific student ID is not auto-generated. If it is not auto-generated, then what we need to do? Okay, so how we can provide that particular specific student ID here? So let me what you can say that one, for example. Okay, and then we need to what you can say that one, then we have the username, email. Okay, the other thing, because why it is not showing me up, remember that we have created this one. So let me remove this one and see that what is the reason that why it is not allowing me to find out. So we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. Okay, so can we find a difference between this address and this address? So it should be small letters here. So once we have this small letter here, so we say this dot address is equal to address. Okay, fine. I think that that should also be there inside our return the address, and this dot address. Yeah, so we say this dot address should be the address. So let me run that particular specific application on my okay, what's going on here? No, okay, Control S, not Alt S. So let me run this application and see if it is working or not. Of course we have something. I just comment it out and see that if my changes inside the students table is actually allowing me to run. Yep, so we are coming up. So that was the reason, the spelling mistake. So we put a capital A in the name of that particular specific address variable, and here the address variable is small, which is the default way to assign the names for the what you can say that to the naming convention for the Java. So we have to follow that. Fine, so that was a reason. So now we don't need to put that particular blank. So once we have figured it out, so let me uncheck this thing, and now you can see that it is going to give me the things. So email, and then we can always press or control enter. Yes, we have a password, we have a city. Okay, so what else? So we need to look at that password. So we have a password, then we have the, okay, let me, what you can say that student student object is equal to new student object, and here you can see that we have the ID, that is 1, then we are passing the user email, that is email, then we are passing the password, that is password, and then we are passing the first name, that is first name, last name, then we have address. So address is actually coming up from this one. Okay, and then we need to provide address, then we have what you can say that we have address, then we have a gender, we have a DOB, and the mobile. So gender, then we have DOB, and then we have mobile. Yep. So okay, DOB is a string, but there in that particular specific variable we have date. Okay, so how we can convert that particular specific thing? So we need to have some converters here, so which can convert that particular specific string value into the date of birth. So let me have that one. Okay, let me see what I can do here. Okay, so first of all we need to convert that. We need to look at the let me go back to this one. Okay, and then where is my date of birth? When you click on that date of birth, so we have something like this. So we need to make sure that we are providing, for example, today is 15th of September, so we provide 09, and then we have a 2020. So we are providing the date of birth in this particular specific format. So we can also mention that particular specific format inside our date of birth hint. So here we have the edit text. So here we can say that we need to get the date in form of a dd/mm/yyyy. Okay, so we know that we need to provide the date in the form of this one, that's particular specific what you can say that this particular specific format. And let me find out how we can convert that particular specific format into that particular specific. Okay, so we have what you can say that class name which is called simple date format. We can simple date format SDF is equal to new simple date format, and then we can provide that particular specific format, and that format should be like dd slash, or we can dd/mm/yyyy. Okay, so this is a simple file format, and then we have the string in that particular specific format. So what we need to do, we need to convert this string into this one. So we say that date, we need to press enter, import that particular specific class. Okay, Java util, yes, and then we say dob date is equal to, we are going to stf dot we need to see that which specific, get 2-digit date, 2-digit year start. Okay, get date format symbols, date format, we want to convert get the, okay, so we need to see that which specific method we need to, because it should return me okay, we have a parse method which is going to return me what you can say that, and then we need to date, dob date as a string. Okay, what's the error here? Add exception to the method signature. Okay, so it is actually raising an exception which try catch, or we can try catch. Okay, so what we need to see that what specific error. So once we have that DAOB, we can say that we can put that particular specific line inside this one, otherwise it will give me. So instead of having that DAOB date, so once we give this thing, we have that particular specific, what you can say, that student object. And once we have the student object, now we need to add that particular specific thing. And remember that inside the, no, we didn't do anything yet. We have not created did we created the our database? No, I don't think so that we have created any kind of a database here. So let me, in the main activity, what I am saying, that we have a DAO that is actually coming from our or what you can say, that week 09 DAO, and is equal to null. And the other thing is we are going to make it not this one. Okay, so we are going to make it a static so that we can access in the other, and here we are going to initialize that first. So we are going to say that week DAO is equal to week 09 database dot create method, and pass this, so it will dot create DAO. So we have the DAO, which is a static variable, so we can call that particular specific method here once we have created our student object. And then we can simply say that main activity dot week 9 DAO, and we can say that we want to insert a student in our students table and pass the student object inside it. And if this particular specific thing is going to return me a 1 if this is double equal to 1. The reason is that, why I'm saying that, because we are saying that it will return me a long value. So we can also say that if it is not equal to -1, then what we need to do, it means that it is the student value has been successfully added. So we can give a toast message, student is successfully added in DB, and at the end we finish that particular specific sign up, because we have done with that. And then we will go back into the login screen, and then we do the login part. So let's give it a try. And the other thing that I want to show here, that because there is some, if there is some problem that date, so we can say that date exception of conversion. Okay, so let us give it a try and see if we can add that particular specific convert that particular specific uh, what you can say that date into the and create that particular specific student object. So once we are done, it is saying that there is an error, so we can go into our logcat. Okay, and then we can see that particular specific error here. So we have a detect unfinish. Okay, where is the error? Error reading from the input stream. This is not an issue. What? Okay, so we have the input stream. Okay, let me stop it, because right now we are not doing anything, we are just running. Okay, so we have at the line number 20, when we are creating that particular specific thing, it is giving me the error. So when we are creating our database, it is giving me an error message. So attempt to invoke a virtual method week 9 dot data object dot dao data model dot dao on a null object reference. Okay, so once we are here, so we call this particular specific method, we are saying database is equal to null, and then we are saying passing the context. So we are get that particular specific context, we are saying that week9.dao, because what it is saying that when you are trying to create that particular specific database dot create dao, then you are actually calling that particular specific null object reference. So it means that this particular specific DAO is not created, database is not created, and that was the reason. So let me put that particular specific thing here and then debug, so we can debug our project. So let me debug it here, it automatically come down here. Yep, we are here, and then we say database is null, so we can say that step over, we are getting dot allow and dot build. So once it is built, okay, yep, the reason we are creating the room database, but we are not saying that it should be assigned to the, so database is equal to, so that whatever the return statement is coming from here, that should the database that we have built, it should be assigned to database variable. So that was the reason. Okay, so let me run it. Yep, so now the database has been created. Okay, so once the database has been created, we can go into the sign up, we can provide the username, for example Abbas, and then if I just try to so it says sign up, it will say you need to provide me a valid. So that was the reason. So I say Abbas dot Malik at yahoo.com. Password, I'm just, because we said it should be 8 character long, so I say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So we make sure that we are providing Abbas, and then we providing the Malik. Gender is male. Okay, we don't need to change it. Mobile is 021 027 44429. Date of birth 14th of October 1979. Okay, street address 448 Albert Street, Hope Kubitu, and Palmerston North, and then we can also have 4410. So when we click on this sign up, a valid mobile number must be given. Okay, so where is the valid mobile number? 021 027 444. Okay, that should be. So sign up. So student is successfully added in the database. Okay, so we have like successfully converted that particular string into the date object, and then when we are converting adding that particular specific student object into the database, then it is working perfectly fine, that conversion from the date object to the long. Now what we need to do, we have what you can say that we have done with our sign up. Okay, so if we are done with the sign up, we are going to close that thing, and now we are here in the when we click on the login button, then what we need to do. So if we look at, we need to provide if we look at that, we user will provide me the email address, and then the email address is actually the primary key of our what you can say that student here, primary key user email. So we will search something from our student table based on that primary key. So now the point is we need to search something. What we need to search, so we say add the rate of query. We will provide a query here, and it will give me a list of not linear, list of student, and read student by email. So when you say by email, it means that we need to provide that email as a string. So here we can write select asterisk from students, okay, let me check if it's provided by table name is a students. Okay, so students, for students, and here we have also a way. In this case it will look at the table and return all the records, but here we don't want to return all the records. We want to check that if the user email. So look at that, the benefit of our room architecture or room framework, it was giving me that particular specific column names that we have defined in the column info. So we say user email is, or email like, and then we can simply provide the email. So this, so what we are saying here, select all the columns from the students table where the user email like. Whenever we are comparing the strings, then we use the like. Okay, and then this particular specific column tell that the parameter that we have passed to this method, it will be coming down here. Okay, so we call this particular specific method and it will give me back the list of the students. Fine. So what we need to do here inside our user login, so we have two edit texts. Okay, so one is the username et and the other one is the password et. Okay, and then we can simply we need to initialize them, find by r.id, and then we have a login username email, and then we also have the password et is equal to find by r.id dot login password. So we have those things. Similarly, we also need to get the strings out of it, so we say that username and the password. So we can say that username is equal to username et dot get text dot to string, because this particular get text method give me a array of characters, and then we want to convert it into a string object. And similarly, we can say that password is equal to password et dot get string, and then finally we say go to string. So now we have the username and the password. Again, we can simply validate before we can do anything with that particular specific email address. So we can simply go into our sign up, and then we can simply take that particular specific method and put it inside our. So we can simply say that if is valid email, we provide the username. If it is the case, then we are going to fetch the data. Otherwise we don't need to. We can simply say that else, not else. We are going to let me again copy paste that particular specific thing here. You need to provide a valid email. You need a valid username. Okay, we are not telling anything others than that. So once it is a valid, so what we need to do, so we can say that we are going to create a list of students is equal to what you can say that we are going to ask our week 9 DAO read by email, and then we provide the username to that particular specific. So it will return me back the students. And remember that we are performing the database operations right inside our main activity, and that is only because we have allowed this particular specific thing. If we don't allow, okay, if we don't allow that particular specific thing, then it will raise an exception at this particular specific line that you are trying to perform a database operation inside the main activity, and that is not allowed by default unless and until you have allowed that when you are creating the database objects. So I will show you later when we are talking about some other things, that how we can say that don't allow, and then we need to start that async task, a separate thread to perform that specific task, and then it will return back the answers. But right now, to just for the sake of simplicity, I'm allowing that particular specific behavior overridden to be allowed in the to allow those network database operations inside our main activity. So we can simply check if that particular students dot size is double equal to 1. It means that it has the database has returned me some specific what you can say that in the else part, I mean it has returned me a student record. If that is not the case, if it is not equal to 1, okay, because we are passing one specific email that should be unique, it should return me only one particular specific student record. If it is not 1, it means that the student that particular specific email does not exist, or we can simply say that you are not a registered user, please register first. Okay, so in that case, so what we need to do, we have a students object, and then we need to validate. Once we validate, what we need to validate, we have validated the user, it's a valid email. We give that user email to our database, and it has returned me a student record. It means that username is valid. Now we need to validate our password. So how we can do that, we can simply say that if the password dot is equal dot equals, okay, dot equals, and then we can say that students dot get, because this is only 1, so index value 0, dot get password. So get password will return me a string that will be compared with the password which is given by the user, and then here we can have, so let me right now just a toast message, you are successfully login, okay, or login successfully login. Of course we don't want to show that kind of a message, we want to take our users to another. So login is login successfully, okay. Otherwise we can, in the else part, we can simply say that login is not successful, your password is wrong, okay. So let me run this application again, because we have done our login part. So we can say that apass.malik, it should be small a, okay. I have given the Yahoo, okay, or Gmail, okay, whatever. So let me give the Gmail account, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then press login. It say that you are not a registered user because I have given the wrong email address. So if I just give him the Yahoo email, you can see that it's showing me login successful. So in this way we are having all the what you can say that we can go into a new activity. We already have that particular specific student object. We can pass that particular specific student object to the next activity. How we can do that? Let us quickly add another activity. Okay, so we can say that we want to add an empty activity. This is a, we can say that user main activity. If he want to perform some specific things, then it is a user main activity, and in that particular specific activity we are going to have a simple let me convert it into say that linear layout. It should be what you can say that orientation vertical, gravity center horizontal. In that we are let me pick up that particular specific email text view here, okay, and then put it here, okay, and then I'm just giving them it the ID. So ID is equal to ID plus ID. So we can say that user info text view, and here we can simply say that user info, okay. Then inside, instead of having like so login success, I say that I want to create an intent is equal to new intent, pass on this, and then we also have a user main. Why it is not okay? So we have a user activity. So what we can, so again because we have missed user, it is uer. So how we can fix this problem? So we can right click on that particular specific spelling I mean misspelled word, and then we say refactor and then rename. So we can simply say that s here. So if we just do that, so again because if we look at that, the activity user uer main, it is not done. So again, not here in the project. So we go into resources and this one, and then here this one. So I can just right click on that, again refactor, and then I want to rename. So we are providing the user. When you refactor, automatically this thing is going to be corrected here as well. So we have fixed that particular specific problem. What I want to here, we say that user main activity dot class, and inside that class we want to put an object. So we dot put extra, and remember that we need to give a specific so here we can say that public static final string user underscore object underscore extra is equal to I'm just taking the same name and putting in the form of a variable. So here I need to provide that the key value. So we can say that user object extra, and then we can provide the student. We have the students dot get 0. So that is, so it is giving me an error message. So it should be a parsable or serializable. What does it mean? Object for a simple int, for example, if I just try to put that particular specific thing as a 0, fine. Why? It is an integer value. If I just want to put some string here, acceptable. If I want to put something like 2.01, that is a long double value, acceptable, doesn't matter. But as soon as I put an object here, because if this particular specific students.get0, it return me the student object. And if we look at our student object, it is a simple class. So we can say that implements serializable. That's the only thing. Serializable, what do you mean by serializable? Serializable is something. This particular specific student object, it has some attributes, it has some methods inside it, all those things. So they are not, whenever we are passing something from one activity to the other activity, that is the user main activity, then it must be serializable. It means that it can be converted into a serial or the array of bytes. Okay, so now if I just try to put things here, it is acceptable. What we did, only inside our students table we say it is implementing serializable. It means that particular serializable interface actually converts that particular student's object whenever we are passing that object between two different processes. It can be converted into a string or into an array of bytes. I mean, it will take all those values, attributes, long strings and so on, their methods and so on. It will convert that particular object into an array of bytes or a stream of bytes. And those stream of bytes are going from the main activity to the user main activity. And at here, it is a student object. When it is going to be passed to the main, from the main activity, it first need to be converted into the stream of bytes. Once it is converted into the stream of bytes, on the other side the user main activity is going to receive it and then again can generate the student object. Okay, so here we can say that start activity and pass on the intent. And let me show you how we can access it from here. So we can say that we have a student object and it is null. Here we are going to get that student object. Student object is equal to, I will say that student object, I need to typecast get intent dot get serializable extra. And remember that I have given that username object as a string value. So it will get that particular specific thing, convert it into a student object and assign it to the student. So now we can simply say that if student is not equal to null, if it is null, we are going to finish this activity. Okay, and if it is what you can say that if it is not null, we want to show that particular specific activity values. So we say text view is equal to find by r.id I give it some name, user info. So user info text view, and then here I want to generate, so we can say that text view dot set text, and there we say that student dot get first name plus we are going to put a space over there, and student dot get last name. So I'm just showing the last name and the first name of the student inside that particular specific text. And let us run that particular specific application again and see. So we need to provide a, okay, it should be small, dot Malik at yahoo.com, and then we need to provide the, and then I click on the login. It's give me the error message, and what is that? So let us see. And the start activity intent, okay, it say that I cannot, it is going into that particular specific activity, but what is the reason that it's, we say intent dot put extra, we say students dot get 0. So what is the reasons behind that? Parsable encountered IO exception writing serializable object. Okay, we also have another object inside our the students object, which is the address, and that is not serializable. Okay, so let me go there and then also say that implements serializable. So yeah, because it has an embedded object which is not serializable, so we need to make sure that we are putting those things. So that could be the reason, that is reason, not could be, it is the reason that why it is does not allow me to dot malik at yahoo.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we say login. Your password is wrong. Okay, so we have to provide the right password. Yep, so you can see that I successfully log in into the application. I pass the student object which I have created and pass it to the next level, and we can use that particular specific object to get all the information about the user who has logged in. Okay, so one more thing that I want to show you here quickly that we can change. For example, I go back and change a few things into my student object. When we are changing the things inside our what you can say that the database, then it is not going to, for example, in the address I add another thing, details, for example. I mean, we are changing the what you can say that user details. So it is a string, and then we can simply say that we have that particular constructor. We can remove it and create the another constructor string. Okay, okay, we need to provide the semicolon, not the, okay, so we have that one, and then we can also say that we want a getter for this one. We also take a setter for this one, so we are all set. But if I try to run this particular specific application, it will give me the error message. So it say that the new address argument postponed. So constructor address is in class address cannot be applied to the given types, new streets above postcode. Where is that one? Yeah, so we need to provide that particular specific detail. So let me say details. Okay, so I'm just trying to, like, I didn't put anything right now, I'm just providing that particular specific thing by myself and see if it is working. It is working. Okay, and can we go into the sign up? I just want to show you that for example, gmail.com, password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then Abbas Malik, and then we say that 021 027 444 29, 14th of October 1979. Here we need to provide some number here, and then we can say sign up. Now it is giving me the error message. So let's go back to the So what is that happened here? It says that the java.illegal exception room cannot verify the data integrity. It looks like you have changed the schema. It means that I have changed the schema, or what you can say that I have changed the database structure. So once I have changed the database structure, it is going to give me that kind of an error. So how we can fix it? Of course, we to be professionally, I mean, whenever you are changing the data structure, you need to delete the previous database, create a new database. But for the sake of simplicity, what you need to do, this application name is the room database demo. Okay, so I just do that, and then I search room, not room, room database. So we have that particular specific. I go to I long click on that. I uninstall that particular specific application. When you uninstall that application from your device, it means it will delete that particular database and everything. And now if I just try to run that particular specific application again, then I can go, of course we don't have this username right now, so abbas.malik at yahoo.com, and then we also have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we say Abbas, we have a Malik, gender will remain same, 021 027 444 29 14 10 1979, and then we can give the address. We can also done this, so we can put the postcode and give the sign up. So now it is fine. And then again, if I just try to log in into my what you can say that yahoo.com, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and click login, it is login. So whenever you are changing, for example, in this particular specific application, we are going to add more tables, we are building some specific things, so that database design is being changed. So what we need to do, we need to uninstall that particular specific application to get rid of that particular specific error of the change of schema for our database. So that is for this particular specific demo, and then I will come back to discuss when we have multiple tables, and then we can do the things over there. Thank you very much. Have a good day.